Action cameras are sold on the promise of absolute simplicity. You grab the camera, hit record, and jump. But capturing professional results in diverse environments requires more intent. Looking at these hardware components, it's clear the Osmo Action 6 is designed for modularity. You have a massive 1.1-inch sensor and a variable aperture lens, but the physical configuration you choose determines how much of that hardware you actually utilize. To get specific results, we have to move past the idea that a single camera setup works for every scenario, and instead start building highly deliberate, specialized rigs. To help you avoid buying accessories that won't serve your specific workflow, we're going to curate the exact mounts, lenses, power, and audio tools for 3 distinct scenarios: vlogging, high-impact action, and low-light shooting. Defining your filming environment is the first step before adding a single piece of gear to your kit. Shooting at night is the biggest challenge for action cameras. The Action 6 attempts to solve this through physical upgrades to the sensor and optics. This compares the Action 6 sensor's physical footprint to standard action cameras. The 1 by 1.1-inch sensor is a 40% size increase, physically gathering more light. On the right, dropping the variable aperture to f2.0 opens the lens wide, saturating the sensor with environmental light. These hardware specs allow the Super Night mode to push the frame rate up to 60 frames per second at 4K resolution, even in near-dark conditions. Under urban street lamps, the result can look like broad daylight. It's highly effective for capturing city streets after sunset. Shooting at f2.0 narrows your depth of field. Your backgrounds will have a softer blur compared to the flat infinite focus typical of action footage. You also must consider the environment. Super Night mode cannot create light in a total void. In a pitch-black alleyway, you will see mild green grain in the shadows. This setup maximizes available light, but you still need to seek out ambient light sources rather than expecting the camera to have its own night vision. When you move to mountain bike trails or a racetrack, the goal shifts to pure stability and the widest possible field of view. This matrix evaluates primary mounting systems on stability, rider comfort, and setup speed. The chest mount offers the most stability for high-impact movement, but ranks low for comfort and speed. The neck mount is faster to put on and more comfortable for long rides, but on rough terrain, it introduces micro-jitters that stabilization software struggles to smooth out. For maximum immersion, you can add the 182-degree boost lens. This captures the peripheral action and your handlebars in the same frame. The trade-off for that extreme width is edge distortion. The camera detects the lens and adjusts, but the final footage will still have that characteristic fisheye warp at the boundaries. For casual rides, the internal wind reduction microphones work well enough to capture the environment, but at high speeds, the internal software aggressively compresses the audio to block wind buffeting. To get high-fidelity engine or exhaust notes, you'll need a wired microphone and the USB-C adapter. The Adrenaline rig forces you to prioritize stability and field of view over your own bodily comfort or wireless audio convenience. For travel and vlogging, the priorities are versatility and vocal clarity rather than extreme durability. This rig centers on the macro lens, allowing you to manually shift your focal distance. This ensures your face remains sharp while walking and talking. The catch is that the macro lens disables digital zoom. To capture a wide landscape shot, you must physically unscrew the lens first. Plotting portability against production value, the Bare Action 6 starts in the bottom right, pocketable, but lacking dedicated vlogging tools. Adding the battery handle moves you to the top left. It provides extra battery, physical controls, and a tripod, significantly raising production value. The physical trade-off is that the camera is no longer pocketable. You're now carrying a dedicated handheld rig. For audio, the Osmo audio ecosystem lets you pair a DJI mic directly via Bluetooth, removing the need for a bulky external wireless receiver. While convenient, Bluetooth compression means you lose the raw audio fidelity required for professional sound mixing. It's a compromise made for speed and ease of use. As a backup, the 50 gigabytes of internal storage acts as a safety net if you forget your SD card, though 8K footage will fill that space quickly. The Vlogger setup works like a modular Swiss Army knife, sacrificing the tiny form factor to achieve premium production value. The 1.1-inch sensor provides 13.5 stops of dynamic range, but your accessories dictate how that data is captured. For action, use the chest mount, boost lens, and 50GB backup. For vlogging, get the battery handle, macro lens, and mic mini for quick-release tripod switching. For low light, master the f2.0 aperture and super night mode, but understand the limitations of total darkness. The goal is to select only the tools that remove friction from your specific daily workflow. The DJI Osmo Action 6 is more than a camera. It's the brain of a specialized modular ecosystem. Build only what you need to tell your story.